Pelosi holds a weekly news conference on Capitol Hill, October 5, 2017, by Alex WongGetty Images. America's ongoing reckoning with UAL predation, precipitated by the allegations against Harvey Weinstein, has become a source of cognitive dissonance for the White House in the case of Alabama Senate candidate Roy Moore. While Kellyanne Conway ripped Hillary Clinton as a hypocrite for taking multiple days to distance herself from Weinstein, she had no compunction promoting Moore, who has been accused by multiple women of initiating romantic UAL relationships with teenagers. "I'm telling you that we want the votes in the Senate to get this tax bill through," she told Fox News, when asked whether Republicans should vote for an alleged child molester. Donald Trump, who himself has been accused by more than a dozen women of UAL harassment or assault, endorsed Moore last week over his liberal challenger, Democratic candidate Doug Jones. "Let me just tell you, Roy Moore denies it," Trump said, by way of explanation. "That's all I can say. He denies it. And, by the way, he totally denies it. Not since the release of the Access Hollywood tape has Trump offered Republican women such a clear reason to avoid the voting booth." Behind the scenes, the president has expressed doubts about the authenticity of Moore's accusers. He reportedly criticized a statement from his daughter Ivanka, who declared last week that there is a special place in hell for people who prey on children. He is even said to have begun suggesting that his own statements about UAL assaulting women, which were captured on tape and for which he apologized, were faked. And yet, over the last several days, Democrats in Congress have ceded their moral authority in the wake of claims against two of their own, Senator Al Franken and Congressman John Conyers, who stands accused of retaliating against a staffer when she refused his UAL advances. Outside Capitol Hill, liberals have been grappling with a history of UAL assault within their own party, re-examining the legacies of men like Bill Clinton. But while the left is seeking accountability, Democratic leadership has seemed more concerned with providing cover for wayward members of their precarious flock. Here's House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi struggling to tell Chuck Todd on Meet the Press Sunday why Conyers isn't being held to her purported zero-tolerance standard just because someone is accused. And was it one accusation? Is it two? I think there has to be. John Conyers is an icon in our country. He has done a great deal to protect women. Violence Against Women Act, which the left, right-wing, is now quoting me as praising him for his work on that, and he did great work on that. But the fact is, as John reviews his case, which he knows, which I don't, I believe he will do the right thing. Asked if she believed Conyers' accusers, Pelosi punted. "I don't know who they are. Do you? They have not really come forward," she said. "That's for the Ethics Committee to review." Pelosi's interview engendered swift social media backlash, after which her office released a statement decrying Conyers' behavior. "Zero tolerance means consequences," the statement read, adding that Conyers had agreed to step down as a ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee. "No matter how great an individual's legacy, it is not a license for harassment. I commend the brave women for coming forward," Pelosi concluded. A New York Times article noted that she had been working behind the scenes with Conyers' team for days to come up with a graceful way for the congressman to step aside. Democrats in the Senate, too, appear to have their own definition of zero tolerance. Franken, who has been accused of forcibly groping several women and was photographed grabbing a sleeping woman's breast, said during an interview on Sunday that while he had done plenty of reflecting in the past several days and was embarrassed and ashamed of his actions, he would return to work. "I'm going to take responsibility. I'm going to be held accountable through the Ethics Committee," he said in a statement. His Republican critics pointed out that the judicial process would be long and drawn out, not only highlighting the flaws of the current system to report harassment in Congress but also delaying any political fallout. The silence on the Republican side of the aisle may be worse. But by opening themselves to charges of hypocrisy, Democrats have lost some of their moral high ground at a time when a tsunami of new UAL harassment allegations is reportedly bearing down on Congress. There are bipartisan efforts underway to get the House and Senate in order. Lawmakers have introduced processes to reform how UAL harassment and assault is handled by the Office of Compliance, which is facing heightened scrutiny using taxpayer money to settle claims against sitting congressmen. It is a designed cover-up, law clerk Matthew Peterson, who represented Conyers' accuser during the complaint process, told BuzzFeed News. It's like being abused twice. In response, the Senate has introduced mandatory UAL harassment prevention training for members and staffers, and the House is set to vote on similar measures this week. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, meanwhile, has said she will introduce a bill in the Senate to combat UAL harassment on Capitol Hill, and a bipartisan group of legislators in the House is pushing for a similar measure. But a more sweeping legislative change would be a harder sell. As Axios's Mike Allen points out, even with a lot more accusations on the horizon, Congress is largely resistant to institutional change, particularly change that challenges its long-held privileges. Trump may have left a massive moral vacuum atop the country, but so far neither party seems capable of filling it.